I rarely ever talk about Nicki Minaj on here because there's really ain't nothing to say. But I do want to comment on this one thing. She is normal as just as any and everybody here. I want to say that again. She's a normal person and she goes through normal issues. Now, where I'm getting at with this is she's being sued by her husband, 1995 muscle victim. I'm trying to be very careful with my words. Her husband is a registered S offender. You know what I'm saying? And the victim of that particular situation is now filing a lawsuit against her and her husband. And it's crazy because she wasn't even with Nicki at the time when this happened. Now, Nicki Minaj and Mr. Kenneth Petty are facing a lawsuit in connection to Petty attempted muscle victim conviction in 1995. According to TMZ, Nicki and her husband are being sued by a woman named, I'm not going to mention the lady name, she's 43 now. I just want to give her respect on that, for allegedly harassing and threatening directly and indirectly in efforts to prevent her from speaking on the rape case. Okay. It's public information, but I'm not going to say the lady name. The woman has also accused a couple of causing her emotional distress in the lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court from Eastern District, New York today. The lady is suing the New York City-based couple for intentionally inflicting emotional distress, harassing, and witness intimidation. She has filed a legal complaint in connection to Kenneth Petty 1995 attempted muscle conviction, as well as suing him for a muscle assault. Back in 1995, Petty was charged with first-degree muscle after the young lady reported to the police that Petty, at the time she was young, she knew from Jamaica Queen, he muscled her after leading into a home at knife point. A year later, Petty was convicted on first-degree attempted muscle, resulting him in having to register as a super offender. Like, super. I'm not going to say the thing because YouTube bings you. He also recently struck a plea deal in a case after failing to register as a super offender in the state of California, which he lives with the rapper wife. Based on court documents, when Nicki began dating Kenneth Petty in 2018, she allegedly spoke openly about Petty's being wrongly accused and claimed that the young lady had retracted her story about the attempted muscle, which the young lady denies. When Petty was arrested in March 2020 and failing to register as a super offender in California, the young lady alleged Nicki called and offered to fly the woman and her family out to Los Angeles in exchange to recant the muscle claims made against the Queen's NY native husband, which would presumably benefit the case. The young lady reportedly declined the offer, and after days later, her family suffered an onslaught of harassing calls, unsolicited visit. Then the woman claimed Nicki Minaj had unnamed people contact the young lady's brother, offer him $500,000 for her disavowing the muscle allegations made against Petty. Nicki Minaj allegedly went a step further, according to the young lady, and sent lawyers to her home, strong-arming her to renounce her claims against Kenneth Petty. As a result, the young lady began to worry and felt her safety was in jeopardy due to the harassment she was experiencing at her home. Nicki and Kenneth reportedly bribed the young lady once with $20,000 in cash. An additional threat was made to her safety as well. Since the news emerging of the lawsuit, people have been weighing in on social media. One person tweeted, "Let's never forget Nicki tried to paint the victim as white to make it a case of downtrodden innocent black man and lied. She said it was muscle when it was muscle with a weapon. The red flags has been there." Another wrote that issue Nicki that she chose the full unconditional loyalty to her husband. It came at the cost of her morality. Instead of accepting her husband's wrongdoing and holding him accountable, she chose to be complicated in covering it up and clearing it his alleged damaged image. A third person type image. Imagine you're titled as a queen of rap being tainted because you want to defend a person who goes out and hunt and harass victims. Nicki would be her own downfall. That's the realest statement I never heard. The reason why I'm saying is that she's regular just than anybody else. What Nicki's doing is no different from a lot of women who meet men and don't know they're super musclers, and they've been to jail for muscling women or wrestling women. I don't know if you catch my drift. I got to be careful with the YouTube guidelines. So, and her ignorance is to cover it up. I have nothing against her. I'm just reading an article, and another thing, I think she still is a talented artist, but the decisions you make and who you have around you does reflect on who you are, and her morale has been questioned. Ignorance is bliss, people. Like and subscribe and share the video.